Welcome to Out of the Mouth of Babe, the podcast for our future leaders. Today, we have a very special guest in the studio. Mr. Justin Burkhardt is the Republican candidate for Richmond City Council at large. But before we get to Mr. Burkhardt, I'm going to introduce these students and let them introduce themselves so they can tell you who they are, first and last name, what grade they're in, what they're involved in, and I'm going to ask them to kind of plug themselves and talk up and just briefly tell us what they're looking to do next year as seniors.
My name is Kevin Hanley Jr. I'm a 12th grader at Richmond High School. I'm on the football and wrestling team. Next year, I'm undecided in college, but I want to start studying marine biology.
What about your grades?
I have a 4.3 GPA right now, straight A's.
All right, next up.
Hi, I'm Hannah Cravens. I'm in 12th grade. I'm involved with a various number of activities, but in school, I'm pretty heavily involved in orchestra. I am the concert master at Richmond High School Orchestra. I am this is my second year as orchestra president. And I just recently started working with Earlham's Orchestra for their December concert. I also am a member of the Indiana Department of Health's Indiana Youth Advisory Board, and I'm the vice president of the Mental Health Subcommittee on that advisory board. So yeah, I do a various number of things. Don't want to keep talking for too long, but for my plans next year, I'm hoping to go to college, and I'm hoping to pursue something, most likely a pre-law program, working to maybe become an attorney, and yeah.
So the first time as you know, I know Kevin, but the first time I seen Hannah, Kevin and Hannah were both in the 8th grade, and they were performing at Dennis Middle School at a talent show. And I believe between the two of them, they got first and second place. And so they've known each other for a long time. And but we're here because we want to learn about Mr. Burkhardt and let him tell us about his candidacy. Let him talk to us a little bit about what he's doing. So we're going to turn it over to you, Mr. Burkhardt. And then once you finish your introduction, these students will start asking you questions.
Well, thank you for having me here on this podcast. And I think that it's incredible to hear what the youth here in Richmond is involved in and what they're doing. It's very inspiring, and it really, the conversation about, we've heard over time the brain drain and the reason why our kids grow up here and are educated, and then they go away and they never come back. So I think it's excellent that you guys are so involved and really sharpening your swords as young adults. So let me ask you a question. What are your plans? What are your future plans? I mean, marine biology, it'd be a little hard to do that at Clear Creek or something, but as far as we do have law offices here, is Richmond, Wayne County, even Indiana, and potentially in either one of your future plans?
Maybe it's kind of really hard with, like you said, for marine biology,
sure,
even in college, because there's not very many oceans in Indiana.
Yeah, just a few.
So I'm hoping to stay in state for a while, though. So around Richmond, yeah.
Did you ask about law and for me?
Ian coming back here, yeah.
Yeah, in the Wayne County area, so pre-law and just mentioning that sort of thing as like a possible program and possibly becoming an attorney, that's just like one of the things I'm sort of thinking of, but there's a number of possibilities in terms of possible careers or possible pathways I would be interested in, when I get into college, because, there's so many different types of law, there's so many types of different things related to law I could get involved to, but something I'm definitely interested in that I feel like I definitely would like to bring back to the community after college is some skills in public policy, for sure. That's definitely something I would be interested in bringing back. So, and our local government does do a lot around here, and so I think that there's a lot to be improved, or that could be improved. There's a lot of disparities, and there's things that could be accounted for.
Yeah, no, I think that's excellent. But another reason why I ask is that I too am a product of Richmond Community Schools, K through 12. And when I was sitting in your seat, I think I was like, no, I'm never coming back, and jobs, and I couldn't run a professional sports team from Richmond, which is not something that I ended up doing. But, it's important you're here, and it's important that you're involved in this. This is a great thing. So, as Kevin said, senior, I'm Justin Burkhardt, and it's a surprise to many that I'm sitting here in this prospective city council at large seat, because I'm not overly political. I think the politics on a national level have really hurt the pursuit of getting involved, on a local level. But I didn't want that to stand in my way, because I feel like, being from Richmond, this is a special place. This is a place where we have Richmond folks. We have folks from Gary, Indiana, that come here and never leave, like Kevin. And we're a collection of good-hearted, talented Midwestern people that are looking to make an impact and change lives. And I think that we need to embrace the things that we have here, utilize our talents, and make this place a force to be reckoned with. So that was really one of my motivations to being here today. So Richmond High School in 2003, and then I went to Miami University and graduated in 2007. And then started my career. My wife, Abby Rodefeld Burkhardt, is also from Richmond, also went to Miami, and we started our life in Cincinnati, working at Children's Hospital there, and really loved Cincinnati, but something just kept calling us back here to Richmond. Family, friends, and really this is a deep-rooted community of good people, and I wanted to get involved here. So we came back, and I ended up getting my master's degree from Indiana University East, master's in management in 2020. And I've just kind of followed where life has taken me. And now currently my wife and I purchased Warm Glow Candle Company in Centerville, which is really exciting and scary all at once, but it's an opportunity that we can better lives and change lives, not only in Centerville, Richmond, Wayne County, but also the travelers that get off the exit, that we can be the gateway here to show you how special our city is and our county is. So we're raising 3 kids here, and they're in 3 different school systems, Friend School, the Hibbard Logos program, and then Seton. It's wonderful that our city has all those options, because we're not cookie cutter people. We don't have a cookie cutter city, so it's great that we have options. And we're just trying to do right. We're just trying to live right, trying to do right by people, and just trying to build all others up. So I'm really happy to be here. That's a long-winded way of saying thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you guys grow too.
Thank you. Well, my first question for you is, why are you running, and what does it mean to you to be running for office now?
Yeah, so I'm running because I'm running for the future of Richmond. I purposely left off any kind of party logo on my sign because I'm running for Richmond. I'm running for the future. I'm running for the kids at Richmond High School, the kids at Seton, the kids at, I want better, and that's why I'm running. And that's important to me because not only are my family members here, but we've also invested as business owners. And so it's crucial that Richmond is safe and successful, and we continue growing talent here. And that's why I knew I needed to get involved. Now, this isn't a stepping stone to being the mayor. I have no interest in ever doing that. That's a thankless job. But I wanted to have a seat at the table and be able to contribute back to the city that raised me. And that's why it's important to me to represent my roots here, to also, if elected, to also be that person for seniors at Richmond High School to show you that not everything in politics is, hat worthy or is fire and brimstone, things like that, that local politics are about people wanting better for where they live. And so I want to be able to work alongside of you all and work alongside of all the people in the city that we can live in a transparent area and we can all roll up our sleeves and give back and help one another out. That's why I'm running. That's why I decided to do this crazy thing, and we'll see where it takes us on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm really glad you're sort of going with this nonpartisan almost message with your campaign. Would you say, just in terms of your campaign, are you trying to remain nonpartisan throughout most of it? I know you're being represented by the Republican the Republican candidate, but what I'm hearing is that you're mainly focused on more of the community aspect. So would you agree with that?
I think that's a good way to put that. Yeah. I believe that, we all, from the scale of left to right or right to left, and then there's the middle. I really believe that I find myself in the middle and maybe just a step over to the right. But, I was early in my career a fundraiser for different nonprofit organizations, Warrenley Youth and Family Treatment Center being one of them. And I've seen firsthand that there are families out there, there are kids out there that, are a product of their environment that they were brought into. And so it's important that those that have tools and resources that we can build up and give them opportunities that they can break the cycle. And so, I think you hit the nail on the head that my message isn't along party lines. My message is really pro-Richmond. And I'd say that I've really enjoyed working with the people that I have, the other candidates that you'll meet very soon. But as for me and my family, the party that I represent and I'm fighting for is Richmond Community.
Great.
Okay. Earlier you mentioned the Richmond students and how you were once a student at Richmond High School. So my question is, could you outline your strategy for improving the education in Richmond and for providing equal opportunities for all students in the city?
Yeah. So I think it's first and foremost, I'd say that the city council positions, there's really only a few things that city council is quote unquote in charge of or enlisted to do. But outside of that, what I would say is that I think that any leaders, whether it's in private industry, in nonprofit and public, including local government, I think it's imperative that those leaders open themselves up to help the next generations. And that's K through 12, and that's also we're very blessed here too to have Earlham, Ivy Tech, IU East, Purdue. We've got great higher education systems as well. I think that I've been very blessed to be surrounded by great mentors, great people that have had my back for a very long time, and if we're going to continue growing this city, we got to keep watering the seeds, and so I think it's important for not only city council members and also Richmond administrators to really partner when it's possible and to keep all that communication open and doors open that you all can be abreast of the things that are happening on the governmental level here in Richmond, and that the Richmond government administration is plugged into what's happening in the education system as well, because growth happens all the time. And so I think if elected, I would be very, very open to bringing in that arm of local government to assist growing the next generation's leaders.
I have something to ask you in terms of that. So I just spoke at it's called an INSOF conference. And so it was a conference focused on public health and figuring out, kind of talking to each other and presenting as to how we can really collaborate when it comes to building like policy or something like that. And so in terms of like improving education for students in Richmond, and as a student, I've always been a student of Richmond my whole life. So I've never moved. I've always been a Richmond resident. And something that I feel, which I'm going to express this to you and also to other candidates, the other candidates when I see them, but I feel like something I would really like to see as a Richmond student is more collaboration in terms of how the administration at RCS and the Richmond City Council sort of work in creating the sort of policies that they're making, because I don't see very often, or I don't hear very often, that you don't really get a student voice or a student say in that. And, I'm wondering as to what you think about that.
Yeah, I think there are several committees that are a part of local government. And I think that the seats are not all filled with elected officials. And so, one being the Street Tree Commission, one being, focusing on the Richmond Airport. I think that you're the future of the city, and I think that it's like in golf. You never really own the golf balls; you just rent them. And I think that we never really own this city. Our job is to leave it better than we found it. And so I think that having the more experienced individuals that have been here for a very long time that can speak to the things that have happened in the past is equally important to those that we are preparing the right-of-way for in the future. So I think that as time allows and as the Richmond Community Schools administration sees fit with the curriculum, I think it's crucial. And I love how some of our local organizations, not necessarily the school system, but that there are these opportunities inside of like Boys and Girls Clubs of Wayne County, where they're able to go over to the State House and kind of see how some of these things work, and so to be able to provide that same experience on the local level. I know that oftentimes we either talk about or we neglect to talk about climate change, and so I'm only here for probably a shorter time than you are, and so it's important that we are setting policies and being responsible for those that come after us too. And so I think it's important that that all that want to be a part of it have the opportunity.
That's great.
So, Justin, we are approaching our time, and I want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to let each young adult ask you one more question, and then I'm going to let you kind of give your final, overall perspective on why you're running and what you're going to do for the city. So, Kevin, you're up.
So earlier I asked you about the schools, and now I'm going to switch it up and ask you, can you explain your stance on promoting diversity, inclusion, and equality within our community? Yeah.
Well, I think that's important, and I think that, certainly on the national level, over the last few years, we've seen some horrifying clips, videos of things that are happening in other communities. And I think that we always can maybe hope that those kind of things would never transpire here. But in order for that to be true, we need to work on that daily. Mm-hmm. I was blessed to come up in Richmond playing sports, and with that blessing and with Richmond, I played alongside of and was raised alongside of every background and nationality and race, and so I felt very blessed that when I went off to school, that I had that opportunity to learn from others that weren't like me. I think that it has to be a commitment from not only the city administration. That's a commitment that we don't just talk about, but we actually make sure that there are policies in place that, we are inclusive and not excluding anybody. So I think that it's something that's always been very important to me. It's something that's important in hiring practices, in business, and it's something that, I take that very seriously. And I think that diversity is what makes Richmond special, and I never want to lose that. And being on Seton School Board a few years back, I know that Seton is an incredible school, incredible learning environment. But we talked a lot about diversity because the students there can learn so much with a diverse classroom, and I think that's very important. And I think that no matter where you are in school, business, at a local event, we're all one, and we need to not only say that, but we need to practice that too.
I guess I'll ask my question, and I'm going to go ahead and merge a couple things. But how do you plan to improve public transportation for those that maybe can't afford a car or that sort of thing? And also in terms of transportation, how do you plan to address affordable housing in the city of Richmond?
Yeah, that's a loaded two-part question.
You can go ahead and answer the first part then. How do you plan on improving public transportation?
Yeah. Well, so starting with transportation is expensive. And no matter if you're in private business, if you're in nonprofit, in order to give services or have services for others, they have to be able to get there first and foremost. So to be able to service buses, tires, oil changes, Again, with Seton, we experienced this with our athletics and field trips. That comes at a significant cost. However, I will say that it's incredibly important because the access to healthcare, the access to our library system, to be able to have access to internet. I think sometimes simple-minded, you think, well, you don't really need a car. You can walk but then that's when things start to not be addressed. Being able to get to a job, get to school. So I think that's a very, very complex issue, and it's something that, if elected for city council, also with the work of the city administration, you have to plan for those things, and those things are never fun to plan for. But I think that you got to set that money aside because it's necessary. The housing question is equally complex, but like transportation is equally important, because one component to that is this component of safety as well. And in my background with different nonprofits and such, not everybody has a warm bed to sleep in. Not everybody has 3 meals a day and a cell phone and things like that. So when you look at it from the perspective of someone else that's has a hard time, we have to work together to look at the resources that are available. And we need to be able to put those resources together and work in collaboration with the landlords. I had read a post recently, or not so recently, almost accusatory towards landlords. Some landlords are really, really good landlords. And some of the quote-unquote slumlords are significantly in the minority. But what we need to do from that perspective is we need accountability, and we need to hold those that are breaking the rules accountable. But we need to put our heads together as city administration, city council, and we need to find good, affordable housing for our residents here, because homelessness is a problem. Safety is a problem. And if we can get our people in a safe housing situation and have safe, reliable transportation, things are going to go a whole lot better for our city in the future.
All righty. Thank you, Justin. As we are approaching the end of our podcast, please leave us with anything you want to leave us with. I know that one of the things that you have mentioned is that you want transparent and servant leadership, and you want to be that voice. The other thing that I read is that you want to give all citizens throughout our diverse city a voice when it comes to our community. And we really appreciate you sharing these thoughts with us. Can you please give the folks out there your last pitch before the election?
Well, first, make sure you subscribe to the podcast.
Yes.
Slam that subscribe button.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Out of the mouth of babes. Right now. Wait. Okay. Voting is important. Voting has consequences, and you need to be educated on those that are running on the ballot. You need to feel good, and you need to get out and you need to vote. That's the most important thing. I'm running for city council because I believe in Richmond. Richmond gave me endless opportunities, and this is my opportunity to take care of those that have given me so much. This is my opportunity to take care of those that have so little. This is my opportunity to give the next generation a Richmond that people want to be in and live in. And that's not going to happen overnight, but we need to embrace the resources and the good people and the good things we have here. And then we just got to get to work on some of the things that we want to change. But first and foremost, we've got the people here to do it, and we have incredible people. So I ask for your vote, and I can't wait to get to work for you if elected.
Thank you, Justin. And again, the podcast, Out of the Mouth of Babes. Also want to kind of mention that Justin just mentioned that he bought Warm Glow. So please go out there and purchase some candles and some oils and all of the above and all of the above. So I want to make sure we get that out. Also, check out the Impact Youth Center, which is one of the newest community-based organizations for teens in Richmond, where we house Club Impact Wrestling. We also house Wayne County Writers, the poetry group, chess club. We also have basketball training, and would love for you all to come check it out, 717 South 5th Street. This is Out of the Mouth of Babes, a podcast for our youth. Thank you.